Have you ever sat in your Tesla Model Y or Model 3 and gone to push on the screen, trying to get it to like angle towards you, maybe to get a better view of watching a movie while supercharging, or just to get a better look at the screen in general? Don't lie, we've all done it before. Even though we know it's not gonna move, we still try. Well, guess what? Those screens can move. What? With a little bit of help from an amazing accessory. Today, we are gonna take a look at the screen rotating mount for the Tesla Model Y and Model 3, and not only how easy it is to install, but how big of a difference that it really makes just to have a screen that can move. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are gonna take a look at a rotating screen mount for the Tesla Model Y and Model 3. This awesome accessory will allow you to rotate the screen 30 degrees in either the direction of the driver or the passenger. Maybe you got somebody in the car that wants to be a screen hop. I don't know. We have been kind of holding out all this time because we've been waiting for the perfect one, and we found it. A screen rotating mount made by who else but one of our favorite accessory companies out there, Abstract Ocean. Let's go take a look at it. Why did we go with the Abstract Ocean version of the rotating screen mount? We wanted the most OEM looking rotating arm that we possibly could get. The second reason why we went with Abstract Ocean is because their brand is just tried and true trustworthy. Anytime you buy anything from Abstract Ocean, you know that they have put a ton of thought and R&D, not only into the design and the function of the product, but in the build quality as well. I gotta say, in every single product we've ever gotten from Abstract Ocean, there is something different about the build quality. It's just more stable, it's more solid. You can tell that they just put more into the build of the item itself. So because of those two reasons, we went with Abstract Ocean. Now, if you happen to be thinking about picking up one of these from Abstract Ocean, or really any of their awesome products from their store, make sure to use our discount code LockettTech. It'll save you 15% on anything that you buy from their store. Why not save a little cash? Now, let's check out what exactly we're gonna get in the box and what we're gonna be working with today. So before we get into the details of what's in the box, your tool checklist, and the install itself, we wanted to take one quick minute to just tell you guys about a special organization that's out there that has a special meaning to us. And we're hoping to use our influence, albeit small, we know and understand, to bring awareness to this amazing cause.
So the Chrysanthemum Project was started by a 13-year-old girl named Abby Bellata. She started it because she lost two very important people to her in 2017. Her cousin Christian by suicide and her Aunt Sandy by cancer. So she took two amazing organizations, combined them to come up with Chrysanthemum Project. And it's the Peyton Heart organization, which brings awareness to suicide and bullying, and just to warm people's hearts by leaving these hearts and gaining awareness. The second one is for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, for her Aunt Sandy, who was also my childhood best friend growing up, and somebody that's very near and dear to me as well. And it has been amazing to watch Abby as she grows into a wonderful young woman, doing these two things to help two people that she loved and bring so much awareness. So the Chrysanthemum Project, check out the website.
The link's right below in the description.
And read more about it. Abby is so amazing for everything she has done for this project.
This obviously is a very near and dear cause to our hearts. You guys don't see how many takes it took for Michelle to kind of get through that because Sandra was her childhood best friend, and we would like to bring the awareness to you guys because it really is a great cause to donate to. And if you don't have the means to donate cash or money right now, we totally understand. Every new subscriber that we get in the entire month of July, we are going to donate 10 cents for every subscriber. So even if you don't have the means to donate yourself, you can still help and be part of the cause by clicking the subscribe button down below.
Please, even if it's just subscribe, help us bring awareness and bring this wonderful cause to so many more people to help others.
Now let's return back to the video and check out what's all in that box. All right, so here's the box itself. You can already tell that this is something that is going to be quality because just look at the presentation of this, right? It's a box. It's not a normal box where you rip the sides open. It's got the magnetic flap down here, and it just gives you that unbox therapy type of presentation. They are awesome. like always, and they give you every single tool that you could possibly need for this install. The screwdriver, they give you the trim removal tool, the hex key, they give you the T20 torque driver, they give you a socket set for the 10mm. Everything that we could possibly need is in this bag. We are using some of our own tools over here. I have my own T20 screwdriver that I'm going to be using just because I get a little bit more better leverage with this. And same thing with the 10mm. I'm using my own socket set just because, again, it's just going to make it a little bit easier during the process. And then I also do strongly encourage you to use a nice soft microfiber of your own. We're actually going to use this to set down on our center console, so when the screen comes off, we have something nice and soft to set it on while we work on the screen and the rest of the bracket. This is the actual new replacement bracket that the screen is going to slide into. I mean, you can feel this is just solid. This is the collar itself that's going to attach to the dash that's going to give that OEM appearance. And then this right here, this is the collar piece for the screen itself. So this is actually going to go on the back of the screen, and this is going to connect in with that piece as well. It's going to be kind of like that. Again, same color as the back of the screen itself. It looks very OEM. And then these last pieces in here, the first piece in here, this is just a back plate. It actually sticks on with double-sided tape, but you'll see it just kind of cleans it up a little bit more in the back. These are the two different types of air sensor covers that you might have. The majority, and I mean the vast majority of you, will be working with this one. It's a bigger design that actually has a fan built into it. Some people, though, that have older Model 3s, I believe, it was only the Model 3, will be using this one with the little dot. Either way, it's really easy to do. You just kind of look at the back of your screen and you'll see either a small little dot like this, or you'll see a big square with lots of like fan holes that kind of look like this. Today, we are going to need this one, so we're gonna go ahead and set this over to the side. If there's a gap in the back, we would use this to kind of fix and solve that gap back there. But again, that's not something that's very common. And then last but not least in the box is we have two new bolts right here. These are going to be used along with some other parts from our existing setup. Let's go ahead and let's jump right into this. This is a pretty easy one, should be pretty quick. All right, I've done my stretches. I am feeling limber and ready to get into some pretty precarious stretches and situations down here. Now, the first thing that you need to do when you attempt anything with the screen is you want to put the screen in screen cleaning mode. That way, it's safe to do, and when it's down, any type of pressure we're putting on it, it's not inputting anything and changing anything with the car. Super simple, just go down here to your main menu, go to display, and then screen clean mode right there. Now the screen is off. Anything we do, any accidental touches or presses we make anywhere, it's not gonna input anything into the car. All right, so first things first, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna lay down our nice microfiber, the temperature sensor cover that's right down here. This is where we have to go. We have to pull that off. We're gonna stick the smudger in there, and we're gonna just kind of put some pressure on it to pop it on and out. There we go. Much easier. Pops right off. This is the temperature sensor itself right here. As with everything in a Tesla, there is going to be a release clip that we want to depress in order to be able to pull this smoothly out. We press that in, that released this clip from coming off. Now, we are going to need the temperature sensor, the existing one. Like I said, there's a lot of pieces. There's, I think, 3 pieces that we're going to be reusing from the current setup in the new one. So this is one of them, and we're actually going to be taking these screws off. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that now while I'm here and before I forget. Now, these use the T20 Torx screwdriver. Now, they do give new screws for this. Now, this piece we're actually not going to need anymore. I'm going to set that off to the side. This is the temperature sensor. We are going to need this again. I'm going to set this up here as well, so that's nice and safe. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take off these bolts right here. These are the bolts that actually hold the screen onto everything. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take these out. These use the 10mm, and we're going to go ahead and use our own instead of the one that's provided, just because it'll give us a little bit more leverage and should make the job a little bit easier. Now, you don't have to be worried about pulling these screws out. The screen is not supported by these screws. These screws just hold them, it holds it in place on its bracket. We've now got both bolts out, so now we can actually pull the screen off. Obviously, you want to be careful, right? Because this is like the brains of your entire car. We're gonna kind of push up a little bit and out. And we're gonna have to put a little bit of force behind it to get it to kind of break free from its current bracket. We're gonna kind of push up and out. There we go. All right, and there you have it. This is the back of your screen. This is the collar. We're gonna take this piece off. These are the brackets that hold the screen on. Now, essentially, that's where this piece is gonna come into effect. We're eventually gonna put this piece on there, kind of like that, and then the new screen's gonna sit on this piece down here. Before we do any of that, we wanna go ahead and we want to take off this collar. This collar is very easy to take off. It's actually just 2 screws, one right here, and then the other screw is right there. These are T20 torque screws, so they're very easy to take out. I stand corrected. They are not T20s. They are a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use the included tool. We want to keep these parts. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put these in my cup holder. The collar, we're just gonna kind of set that out of the way. We wanna, whoops. Please don't go into drive. So this is the wire itself that connects to the computer. This white piece right here, this is just a connection stabilizer. You're gonna peel these 2 edges back and it does come off. You can slide it up and it comes off just like that. Now the clip, obviously we need to be a little on the careful side here. There is a release clip. That release clip is right here. See how I'm pushing it in? So we wanna push that in and then we can pull that cord out. And there we go. And now that the cable is free, we can go ahead and we can remove the old collar, which we are not going to need again. And we've got our screen cable, and then we've got our temperature sensor connector right down here. The next step is going to be installing this big black piece. This is the main collar that's going to sit against the dashboard itself. So this is going to kind of sit like this, and this is going to sit inside of it like so. So when we put this in, you kind of want to do them both at the same time. Now, it does make it a little bit more difficult because we are going to have to kind of slide this piece around, but it's a lot easier, I think, to do that than to have to mess with this plastic after the fact. So when you're putting this on, make sure you also stick the wire through. That way, that's just already done for you. It's obviously, you don't want to go too crazy cranking on it, but you do want to make sure that it is nice and tight. All right, now we're gonna tighten up the other side. So to get this side, you just have to kind of fiddle with this a little bit. I ended up rotating the black bracket towards the driver's side, and that kind of freed up some space over here that I can go ahead and I can now access the bolt on this one. All right, it's in there nice and tight.
That's what she said.
The next thing we want to do is we want to get this collar in place. You have these little clips right here and here. You obviously want to make sure that they go underneath. They're what's going to kind of snap in to this up here to keep this nice and tight. But you also got to make sure that the ones on the very bottom are underneath as well. And once everything is in place, you can go ahead and kind of snap it in, and you'll feel that it kind of goes into a nice little home. Everything is nice and in and flush and looks fantastic. This looks OEM, and this is exactly what I was talking about when I was giving the reasons why and why I went with Abstract Ocean as opposed to some of the other manufacturers. I mean, look how fantastic that looks. There's no gaps. It looks like it was absolutely meant to be included with the car. Remember this piece that we showed you at the very beginning? If there was a gap up here, you would just set this on top of that bracket and it would fill that gap. Most of the Model Ys and Model 3s out there are not gonna have that gap where you're gonna need this piece, but if there is a slight gap up here, just know that's what this is for. The next step in the process for me is I would like to connect the wire back to the screen. That way we have connection again. Now, before you do that, you got to make sure you're taking your new collar for the screen and you're feeding the wire through that collar, because that collar we're going to install onto the screen in the next step. There's only one way it connects. It's really easy, and you'll hear the little click, and you'll see that pin that we had to depress in order to pull it out, you'll see that pin just kind of slide back into place. We want to go ahead and reattach that white piece that we had. I like to just reattach it along the top and then slide it down. Now we can put the new collar on. It only fits on one way, so it's really easy to figure out. We're now going to grab our previous screws from the collar before. These guys right here. There we go. Now remember, we're dealing with plastics, so you just want to snug it up. You don't want to go crazy cranking on it. That's it, nice and tight.
That's what she said.
Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the screen back on our brace right here. This part right here, the slit, you'll see it's gonna slide right into the bracket here. And then we're gonna use the new bolts that were given to us in the new package. We're gonna use them to connect the screen to the black bracket right here, these holes that are right on the bottom. Now, this is probably the most frustrating part of the process because there's really no good way to get down and see what you're doing. Now, when you're doing this, you want to make sure that your temperature sensor connector stays out and doesn't kind of get accidentally pushed in. Otherwise, we're gonna have to fish it out. So you want to leave all the wires still out and exposed. Don't worry about them just yet. So really all we're gonna do is we're just gonna pick the screen back up and it is just going to slide right on, all nice and neat like that. And now if you feel underneath, you can kind of feel the opening where the bolts go down there on the bottom. So we've got the screen mounted on the bracket here. It looks really good. It's on, it's secure as advertised. Getting these bolts on right here, yeah, that was a bit of a challenge. You really do have to kind of support the screen and kind of tilt it back a little bit on this like little angle it's at in order to get that bolt right there to actually connect to the bracket. It was a little bit of a pain in the butt and it took some fiddling and finagling, but I finally got it. And as soon as you get the one, the screen just kind of goes into the right angle and it makes doing the second one super easy. But that first one, that was a bit of a bugger, I'm not gonna lie. So our next step is we're gonna go ahead and we're going to reconnect our temp sensor right here. Now this is where we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna use this new temp sensor cover right here. Our existing temp sensor is just going to go ahead and fit right into it like the other way around. You just saw it only goes in one way because when I had it the other way, the screw holes didn't line up. We're going to use the new screws that were provided in the kit and we're going to go ahead and we're going to screw this right in. First thing we're going to do is we're going to connect the temp sensor back to the cable right here, and then we can go ahead and we can just kind of slide this right into that spot that's right there. There we go. And now it's installed and looks super clean. Check it out. Now the last thing we have to do is this piece right here. You'll see that it has like a little bit of an indent right down here. That indent is for that wires. See that little black space? You can kind of see it's the back of the bracket right here. That piece is actually going to go along that black, the back of the bracket, just to give it that overall finished look so you don't see any of the bracket and things like that. You're just going to peel that double-sided 3M tape and it's just going to slide right in like that. You're just going to kind of feel around, put it in position there. I do recommend turning the screen all the way to one side and going from the other to get a good view, and then just start applying pressure to all parts of it so it can make that good seal on that metal bracket back there. Tell me that that does not look OEM. I mean, seriously, it just looks awesome. And of course, we got to check out its function. Yeah, moves nice. One thing that you'll probably notice, and somebody may have already commented about it because they jumped the gun and didn't wait for me to get to it. See how my touchscreen's not working? That's okay. That happens when you do these sometimes. It happens because of how long the screen was disconnected. All you have to do is just do a simple reset by pressing in both buttons, holding them in for a very long 1 minute, letting the computer recycle, and then everything will be good to go and fully functional again. Our screen is rebooting back up. Touch capabilities are right back up again. Finish letting it do its thing. See? Boom, 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 boom. No problems We are back in business with the touchscreen. Now we have a perfectly looking screen that can rotate towards the passenger. It can rotate towards the driver. It can stay in the middle like normal. Now, it did lower a little bit for those that did notice. It lowered, I would say, by maybe ½ an inch, which I actually think kind of looks kind of nice, to be honest. And now I can give it a little tilt towards me while I'm driving, and I can get like a one-on-one personal screen. No chance Michelle lets me do that while I drive. This is one that I've waited a really long time to do. I know a lot of other people have already put videos out on this. These rotating screen mounts have actually been out for a really long time already. I held out so long though because I was waiting for one that looked OEM. It does just make sense to be able to tilt it, especially when you're supercharging and you're by yourself and you want to sit here and watch a movie and you're kind of like doing the whole sideways sit so you can look at it straight on. Otherwise, I don't know, it's kind of weird you're looking at it. Look, this is definitely something that was needed. Don't forget, if you're gonna pick this up from Abstract Ocean or anything from Abstract Ocean, use coupon code LockettTech. It'll save you 15% off your entire purchase. Save a little bit of extra cash. We're here trying to hook you guys up. I love this thing. I think it's awesome. Well, there you have it, guys. If you guys want to pick one up for yourselves, they're available at abstractocean.com. The version we have, which goes left and right, that one's $179.99. They do make one that goes full rotation, like you can rotate it up, down, left, right. That one is available for $209.99. Well, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please make sure to chuck a like on it. It always helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you are not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. We always have awesome videos about Tesla and tech and all that fun stuff. We got a lot of really awesome Tesla videos coming up, guys. So if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. We'll see you again in another one real soon. Thanks, guys.